Hi, I'm Steven, and this is Gold Star Parts, everything about Japanese mini trucks. What I'm going to do today is install a heavy-duty bumper on the rear of a 2021 Daihatsu Hijet S510P with a heavy-duty dump. It's going to show the brackets that we use and a little bit more about what we do here at Gold Star Parts. We're going to do a little pre-work on this truck to bring it to a position where the back of the truck is already in a lifted orientation. Almost all trucks are lifted for the S510P in order for you to put a little larger tire on it, get you a little bit of more clearance underneath the differential, etc., so that you can go ahead and drive it off-road and not get stuck quite so easily. So we'll start with the shackles in the back. You'll notice that currently what I've got here are the stock shackles. I'll stop the camera. I'll go ahead and I'll change the shackles out first. And then I'll begin from a position of shackles have been changed, and now you've decided to go and put the heavy-duty bumper on your truck. I've completed putting the shackle and changing the shackles on the right side of the truck. I've moved over here to the left side of the truck to show what I'm going to do to change the bracket out and go back to a standard set of shackles, and then taking that last shackle off, which is now the bracket that holds the bumper, reinforced heavy duty, to carry the weight needed for a bumper on a mini truck. Okay, got that down. Take the old shackle out. Same with the upper. Take the old shackle out, leaving the rubber in. So the longer bolt goes to the top. That's the 4.5-inch bolt. Through the bushing. And the other bracket. This is the bracket for the bumper. You'll see that there is a difference between that and the stock bracket that was on there for the lift. We take that off, discard it. We take this bumper bracket, we'll stick that on here. I'll put a nut on it. I'll go to the jack, lift it up, and then I'll start getting the bolt in for that. While I was away from the camera, had it off, I went ahead and took the jack, raised the truck up so the tire is still sitting on the ground and the holes being very close to where they need to be, into that hole right there. So I'll go ahead and I'll pull that down. Handy wrench on that, happens to be a pipe wrench for me. Taking the 4-inch bolt. And raise the jack a little bit more. Easy way, pull the bushing a little bit. Bring the bushing in so you have clearance, since I didn't pull the tire off of it. Bushing now goes in. Bolt goes through. We're going to that lower bolt hole right there. And put a 1/2-inch lock nut on it. At that point, what I'm going to do is go ahead and snug this up. Not over snug or not compressing the bushing. Just bring it so it's snug to the bushing. That's all you need to do. When you took it apart, it might have been a a lot tighter. There are some truck sellers out there that their mechanic is tighten those rubbers down extremely hard. There don't need to be. You want to go ahead and take it down so it's just kind of a snug fit. Okay, that end is done. Okay, we're at the point where we're ready to go ahead and put the jack underneath the bumper, raise it up to stable it so that I can get some bolts started on each side of the bumper. The lower bolts were re-loosened to allow a small amount of movement to that portion right here of the bumper bracket. You'll notice that there are 3 holes there. If you can fit bolts, by all means, feel free to put them in. The design allows that 2 bolts gives you full strength. These are grade 5 bolts. You can, if you feel, upgrade these 3/8 inch by 1 inch bolts to a grade 8 bolt for additional strength. There were a few things we learned on this. One is that we will need to go ahead and use a come along to pull the springs in ever so slightly so that everything is in alignment. The bolts here, we do want to go ahead and snug those to where they need to be. We don't need to loosen them after that. We come right up against the edge of the flat. And then what additionally we do is we'll go ahead and we'll elongate these holes ever so slightly or over drill them so they fit a little, the bolts go in easier. Change those to grade 8 if you so desire. 2 bolts are enough. We chose not to use the 3rd one because of how close it was to the spring shackle in the back here. It would have been quite difficult to put that bolt in. In the future, this whole bracket will again go through a redesign, and that is in the very near future, to go ahead and take all these holes back just a small amount from where they are so we don't have interference here. Currently, how everything is connected, we're attached to the upper and lower for the upper spring and lower spring fitting, so for the shackle, and then this then is the bumper. And if you were to look at this as the truck is sitting right now on the ground, it is very close to being level. While the truck moves, of course, the spring will move ever so slightly in an up and down fashion, meaning that that shackle will move in and out. It moving in and out then, of course, will cause this to go up and down ever so slightly. That does not change the design. It is part of the design. Understood that there will be some deflection, no different than if you're driving the vehicle. Of any vehicle going down a road, there's some deflection on the point of where the ball sets. We just have just a tad bit more, and the deflection of the bumper itself, that it actually will go ahead and do a movement like this, ever so slightly. So here's the instruction, or the video on installing this bumper. You'll notice I went ahead and I put the plastic caps in the back. You'll see the height that we've gone. We want to thank you for watching this video and hope that you look at other videos in the future. Thank you so very much. This is Stephen with Gold Star Parts.